Welcome to Country's Family Reunion 2010. Can you believe it's been 13 years since we had the first reunion? Wow, so many great memories. And yet somehow year after year, the reunions just get better and better. With a whole new group of country music legends, plus all the reunion favorites you've come to know and love, this gathering just might be the best yet. So sit back and relax as we share some stories, songs, moments that'll touch your heart. Welcome to Country's Family Reunion 2010.
Everybody's invited. Everybody. So good. You say y'all went 20-something years without singing, and then you went to the Texas Country Hall of Fame?
Yeah, Ralph Emery always hosts the Texas Hall of Fame Awards down in Carthage, Texas, and Ralph had a wedding in his family, so they called me and asked me if I would come down and do it. We were in Texas and talking and look at all Ernest stuff, and Jack was on the show, and I said, how do you feel about, let's just pay tribute to Ernest and do it. It was just a wonderful feeling again, and it was like, you know, we didn't have any trouble phrasing together, you know. Of course, I've been standing over there in the wings many nights singing along with his hits anyway. It was a great feeling. You know, the first time I ever heard Jack sing was when he did The Last Letter in the Texas Troubadour album. And I remember saying then, man, I love that voice. I'd love to meet him sometime. Never had any dream we'd ever get to record together. So.
If you listen to the Opry, or you're on the Opry, you know this guy is like the old thing they say, a fine wine just gets better with time. This guy is singing better than he has ever sung in his life. The audience just tears a house. I was out front the other night at the Ryman, and you were doing Statue of Fool. I thought they were going to tear the roof off that place. It's just absolutely incredible. Thank you for sharing that with us today, man. You just get better and better all the time. Jenny,
well, I'm going to help Jack sit down this time tomorrow. It's his turn to help me, okay? Old friends.
All right, pretty song from a pretty lady deserves another pretty song from another pretty lady. Jan Howard's going to go back and do this. This was one of your early records, wasn't it?
It is. Whoops, I'm hung up here.
That's all right.
As usual.
Tell you what, we got hung up more on these dadgum chords, hadn't we?
This is one that was written by Ernest Tubb's nephew, Glen Douglas Tub. And I've been singing this song, gosh, about as long as I've been singing. And I've always loved it. And I put it in an album one time, and so I thought it would. Would you like to hold this for me?
Keep her on the leash, Bill.
Got you on a leash.
Forget it.
That's good.
Oh, okay. I've always wanted to. Well, never mind. Look at all. This is called I Wish I Could Love That Much Again. Sing this for you, Larry. I've only loved one time, and that was long ago. I thought that he was mine, and then he hurt me so. I cried so very long, then no more tears would fall. And when the pain had gone, I had no heart at all. And I wish I could love that much again, and have that same old feeling deep within. No matter what the cost be in the end, I just wish I could love that much again. Turn it around. in the end. I just wish I could love that much again. I wouldn't care if I'd lose or win. I just wish I could love that much again. Thank you so much. Thank you.
That's great. Country Music 101 right there.
Good.
Plain, simple, feeling song. T. Graham said the other day, this was interesting to me. You were talking about growing up down in South Georgia and living by a railroad track, and you slept with your window open, and there was a black church on the other side, and that you picked up a lot of the soul that you have in your singing from that. And I notice you're going to sing a gospel song, and I'm anxious to hear your interpretation of this.
Yeah, you know, I said the other day it was the first live music that I ever heard, but it was the first band I ever heard. My mama's side of the family were always had 2 pianos in their house, and we're always singing gospel songs. So that's really the first I ever heard. And then Araby Baptist Church. I lived down there in my boyhood years, and that's where I really heard the first. But this was the first band I ever heard. And this opened my eyes. You know, I was wondering, what is that? I didn't know there was such a thing. I'd never seen a band. You know, I didn't know. But
Well, let me hear your version of this. Share it with all of us, because I know it's
all
gonna
right,
be
well,
good.
hold on a minute. Everybody's been bragging on Ray Pillow so much. Hey, you know,
Don't start
my throat's
nothing
kind
now.
of dry, so I'm going to bring my Mountain Dew with me. But will you introduce me? Since everybody's been bragging.
You know what? You're a piece of work, I'm gonna tell you that. Why don't you get over there behind the curtain? How about a nice round of applause to one of the greatest singers with more soul than anybody I've ever known, T. Graham, the man.
Thank you, thank you. All right, let me see. We're going to do Closer Walk with Thee, my version and my lyrics. Not really my lyrics, but I know I'm going to mess them up. So. Why, I'm weak, but thou art strong. Oh, Father, keep me from all wrong. There you go. Well, I'll be satisfied as long as I walk. Now let me walk close to Thee. Just a closer walk with Thee. Just a closer walk. Just a closer walk. Keep me further, that's my plea. Just a closer walk with Thee. Well, I'm daily walking close to Thee. Oh, now let it be. Oh, dear Lord, now let it be. I said when my feeble life is o'er and time for me shall be no more, guide me to that peaceful shore. Oh, now guide me, Lord, to that peaceful shore. And I'll sing just a closer walk with Thee. Just a closer walk, just a closer walk, just a closer. Keep me further, that's my plea. Just a closer walk with Thee. Yeah, I'm daily walking close to Thee. Oh, now let it be. Oh, dear Lord, now let it be. Hey, Mike. thee. Keep me further, that's my plea. Yeah, I'm daily walking close to thee. Oh, now let it be, dear Lord, now let it be. Well, I said daily walking close to thee. Oh, now let it be, dear Lord, now let it be. The band.
We need to take up the collection. Take up the collection. Put something in that. That's great, man. Absolutely. Oh, come on, Marvel, you got a lot of money. That's great. You can sing that kind of song and have a good. I think the Lord wants us to smile and have a good time. And
Right.
praise Him with our music. That's
Oh, by the way, I never mentioned Sheila on here much. Wherever you are, Sheila, she's out there somewhere. Hey, thanks. She bought me a new Bible yesterday, and it's got that enlarged type, so now I can read better. Thank you.
Jimmy C. Newman has been extremely quiet.
I'm not following this.
We haven't even heard a big old A.
That's about all I can do after that.
Let's hear it.
He's got 1,500 A's canned in himself. But anyhow, wasn't he great? Yeah. My mic is not on.
Yeah.
My mic is sick.
You, of course, are known for your Cajun music. Your band's called Cajun Country. That's what you do on the Opry. Before you really got into doing the Cajun stuff full time, you had a couple of big hits with country ballads. And I've noticed every once in a while now at the Opry, you go back and sing some of those. And I think it's great. I love hearing them again.
Well, I appreciate it. Really, that's how my first record success was Cry Cry Darling in 1953. And then 1954, we came to Nashville and made a Music Road type record out of it. But the first one had a pretty good scald on it. But anyhow, that's what started it all for me in 1954, the dot record of Cry Cry Darling. Yep.
So you've decided to go back sometimes and do that in addition to the Cajun stuff that you're doing.
Do which?
Sing one of great ballads, or sing it from over there. Because you had another one after Cry Cry Darling. You had a big hit. Song came out of Muscle Shoals, I think, called A Fallen Star.
Yeah, I'm James Joyner. I had Cry Cry Darling, and then Blue Darling, Seeds in My Heart, Daydreaming, and then I went pop. Elvis had changed the music scene, so we tried one with the Voices. And one night at the Ryman Auditorium, on a Saturday night, Buddy Keelan was playing bass for, the late Buddy Keelan was playing bass for the late Jim Reeves, and he was in the publishing business. And I said, Buddy, I got a buddy that's got a big country hit with them Voices. And I said, if he can do that as a crossover record, I said, I think I can do it too. So he said, come on next Monday if you can. And he said, I might have the song you want. And so I went over and it was A Fallen Star. And so that's how it all came about.
At some point, Ferlin Husky recorded that too, didn't he?
Actually, we did a cover of a record around James Joyner had produced, and I can't think of the boy's name. They're in Florence, Alabama. Mm-hmm.
I'll open up for you anytime.
I don't want to follow you. You're not going to open for me.
Great.
Well, thank you.
What'd you say, Jan?
I recorded Fallen Star in an album about 1968, and I couldn't even begin to follow Jimmy C, and I'm a fan of Jimmy C. Newman, but I love to play golf with Jimmy C.
Yeah.
Now, he teaches me a little bit about golf, but a lot of French. For the shots after the ones where I missed the ball.
French you're not going to use in here.
Hawkshaw and Jimmy. Hawk was in the war over in France. He learned to speak French. And him and Jimmy Newman used to talk French all the time. It used to make me so mad I couldn't see straight because I didn't know what they're saying. But him and Hawk would get behind the opera and just speak that French.
Y'all talking about me and I didn't understood nothing yet.
Talking about all the words you taught me to play French when we were playing golf, but we can't repeat here.
Yeah. There's a lot of truth.
And
to
I
that.
said, you and Hawk used to speak French all the time.
Yeah, we used to wear her out because he'd been in the service in France and he learned French pretty darn good, enough for us to hold a conversation. And so we'd be traveling like on a tour that needs to be recorded. We need to record that tour that we took in the Northwest in
No, we don't.
winter of 1956, 57. But anyhow, when a lot of time we'd change into a French conversation, and Rufus was with us, and that's when the bus caught fire 3 times.
Yep.
And every time,
the brakes burn out.
and what happened? It had a big tank on top of the motor. That's where the radiator was, and so it burned the hoses. When the motor would catch on fire, it burned the hoses, and all the water would fall and put the fire out. It happened at least 3 times. And Rufus Thibodeau had gotten some moonshine in Portland, Oregon, and we'll not pursue that conversation any further. But the 3rd time the bus caught on fire, every time Hawk would stop the bus, we'd all run out of the bus. So Rufus had been into that moonshine. He claimed there was some old yellows in the moonshine too. But anyhow, that's another story. So what happened is, it caught fire so many times that the last time Rufus came to the steps, I said, "That's why y'all woke me up again." So he went back in the back and went back to bed. But that was an unbelievable tour we were on. And Hawk and I would visit a lot in French, and Rufus. And
I know you was talking dirty.
At that particular time, maybe he did. We were grown up, at least, if we could.
I'm sure that the people who are watching this have seen this old boy here in this red coat all day and wondered, when's he going to say something? When's he going to talk? This is little David Wilkins, who...
Hello, everybody.
Now, I say little David. You've always gone by the name Little David, but you told me when you came in here today, how much weight have you lost?
107 pounds.
Wow.
In a year.
In 1 year?
1 year.
Now, there's a story about that coat, and is this the reason you've lost the weight so you could wear this particular
Yeah, let me tell
coat?
you, Owen Bradley named me Little David. And they had to send my contract back to New York and redo it. They couldn't. They said, well, you might sue us if we put you out under that name. We did that. Of course, Johnny Russell and I have been friends. We're friends for almost 30 years. And I saw Johnny wear this coat on the Christmas special. I said, man, that's the first coat I've ever seen. He said, brought it to me. He said, you can have it. Here it is. So anyway, I had to have it cut down quite a bit in the last couple of weeks to, make it fit. But Johnny, he went through a tremendous amount of clothing. And he would always bring me stuff. Here, you might like this jacket, or you might like this or that and the other. But he was a wonderful person, and we had a lot of great times. We would have written a lot of songs, I hope, hit songs, but we'd get one verse done, he'd say, "Let's go eat." Every time. Let's go eat. Yeah. So we had, Johnny and I ate a lot of food, I tell you that right now. He was something else.
Yes. And that's the very coat that he wore when we did,
this is the very coat
the family reunion
That's
Christmas?
exactly right. I think Margot Smith sat on his lap and sang to him. You're talking about him being like mistaken for Santa Claus back then. But anyway, we had a lot of great times and did a lot of shows together. And one time, the late Kenny Price was a big guy like us, and a guy up close to Chicago decided he'd put a show on with Kenny Price, Johnny Russell, and myself. And they named it 1,000 Pounds of Country Sound. So anyway, what happened, you know, I got all the, we all did fat jokes. So I went out first and I did all the fat jokes and they just were furious. What are we gonna do now? We had 2 sold out shows, so the second show they made me go on last. So I couldn't do anything. But it was a lot of fun.
Give me a sample of a fat joke.
Well, I'm trying to get down to my original weight of 7 pounds and 12 ounces. And Johnny, let me tell you what he did to me. We always went to the movie about once a week, Tuesday or Thursday, according to our show dates, you know, on the road. And we go to all the new movies, and Johnny would tell me a joke, say, what do you think about this for the opera Saturday night? I'd say, yeah, you're name about what I thought, but it was always good. And so one time he asked me for 2 or 3 days, now what all are you telling on the road? What all are you saying on the fat jokes? I told him all my fat jokes. So we're coming I'm in the back of the bus trying to go to sleep. We'd played Houston and Little Rock. And coming out of Little Rock, and the bus, somebody started knocking on my back door of the bus, hollering, get up here quick, quick. Johnny Russell's doing your whole show. So he did all the fat jokes that I had told him that night. And so the next day, you know, we got in, and I didn't get up till about 3 o'clock. And he called, and I said, man, I heard you doing my show last night. You sounded good. I said, you've ruined my show. He said, well, you can do any of my jokes you want to, so it don't matter. But it was just, you'd have to be there to really like the things we went through. It was really something. And Sheb Woolley and John and I ran around a lot together, and Johnny knew every eating place, you know, anywhere around. He took us to Gatlin one day and said, y'all have got to try this sweet potato pie at this restaurant in Gatlin. I don't even remember the name of it. We went way around behind a hardware store or something, and so Sheb Woolley and myself and Johnny was there, and he said, bring us a piece of the sweet potato pie. We had that, and he said, wait a minute. They make some of the best coconut pie here you have ever eaten too. So Sheb ate his coconut, I ate mine, Johnny ate his, and we got through with that, and he says, no, he said, we're not through yet. And Sheb said, well, I am. He said, they've got some great chocolate pie. They're all homemade. So I'm a big eating fool, so I had chocolate pie, and he did, and Sheb almost got sick watching us. But it was wonderful. We always had fun.
Every time we get in this circle, we miss people like Sheb Woolley and Johnny Russell because they brought
I miss
so
them
much.
so much. They were, and when we'd go into restaurants, which that's where we were most of the time, Johnny and Sheb were, you know, down. They were telling their jokes, and Johnny would say to somebody, "Did you see Outlaw Josie Wales with Clint Eastwood?" And they'd say, "Yeah." Well, Johnny said, "Did you see him in it?" And the guy or lady would say, "No, I don't think so." And Sheb would jump down and just show his head because he was one that was buried into the ground. He would just jump down on the floor and just show his head over his face. I mean, I could go on for hours on these stories, but it was really something to be with those guys. I loved them both very much and miss them just more than you know. But Johnny would also, when he was in rehab at Baptist, when he was really getting pretty bad, you know, he was in rehab at Baptist, and he knew I liked to sleep late in the morning, but he'd keep me up there at night till sometimes 1 or 2 o'clock. My wife would get worried thinking something was wrong, you know. So one night he kept me up there, you know, and I found out what it was for because the walkway over Church Street, they opened up the cafeteria, and he found out when it was, like at 1 o'clock in the morning. And I had to push him all the way over and all the way back. And that was before I lost just 107 pounds. And then you had to kill me. I thought I was going to die. They had little benches along the way, and I said, man, I'm going to have to sit down here and rest. So I rested and all. But every other day, he would call me about 7 or 8 in the morning because he'd get up early. And he'd say, what you doing? And I'd say, well, I was asleep, John. He'd say, would it stretch our friendship if I ask you to go by McDonald's and get me an egg and a egg and bacon biscuit? Yeah. So don't bring no cheese. That's bad for me. But I was always bringing food up, you know, and I noticed the nurses and people looking at me like, gosh, what is this guy? He's trying to sabotage him. But he'd order, you know, spaghetti from Fazoli's, and he loved the potato soup at Shawnee's. And I was always going, and when I told him at Shawnee's I was getting 1 cup, a big 20-ounce plastic styrofoam cup, they said, what do you keep coming by here for and buying this soup? This was over by Metro Center. I was on the way to the hospital. I'd say, well, you ever heard of Johnny Russell? Oh, Lord, we love Johnny Russell. We hear him on the opera and see him on the TV, you know, and we love Johnny Russell. And so after that, they'd make me take 2 for the same price. And a lot of times, they'd say, you coming for Johnny? And I'd say, yeah. They'd say, here's 2 cups of potato soup. Take it on. And you don't owe us nothing. So of course, I didn't, I always bought it anyway. I didn't try to collect from John, but he was just a trip. I'll tell you, I could go on and on about the stories that things we went through.
Well, you're a trip too. You've written a lot of great songs, and you're a great piano player. You've told me all these food things. One of your big hits was called Butter Beans.
Yeah, that's what I believe. Just about everybody here today has mentioned Butter Beans, and I thought I was going to do it, but they got me on another song.
Well, you wrote a big hit song, and you cut the original record of it, and then I think Conway Twitty.
Yeah, I wrote Georgia Keeps Pulling on My Ring, and Owen Bradley was my producer too at MCA, and Conway, we were playing at McCormick Place in Chicago, and he said, you got a song on one of your albums I'm fixing to record, and I thought he's just probably, you know, trying to make me feel good. By golly, he did. He recorded it, and it was one of his big records, you know, and it's in 4 of his albums, and then Charlie Pride, wherever he's at tonight, we talked about it earlier when we first got here. Charlie Pride put it in he was going to put it on a single, but Conway beat him out with it. And it's in the Someone Loves You Honey album, and also Charlie Pride Gold.
Well, could we get the original version from Little David Wilkins?
Get the version that I actually wrote first of all.
All right.
Get it, buddy.
I'm wired up today.
Wired up. Little David Wilkins.
Put this in a Johnny Russell coat pocket. All right. I believe this is going to work. Steel Man has got to be with me. Georgia, sweet, sweet Georgia, keeps pulling on my ring. Most men would give their right arm or anything they own to have a woman just like you to be waiting when they come home. But the devil made me cheat on you just 1 too many times. And honey, I'm sorry. She left heaven on my mind. Everybody sing now. Georgia, sweet Georgia, keeps pulling on my ring. I need her, and I love her. Lord, she's a sweet and precious thing. Her sweet and easy loving, Lord, beats all I've ever seen. And Georgia, sweet, sweet Georgia, keeps pulling on my ring. I didn't want to fall in love with anybody else, but when I tasted heaven, Lord, I just couldn't help myself. I pray someday that you forget and forgive me for all these things. But I just can't seem to love you with Georgia pulling on my ring. Georgia, sweet Georgia, keeps pulling on my ring. I need her, and I love her. Lord, she's a sweet and precious thing. Her sweet and easy loving, Lord, beats all I've ever seen. And Georgia, sweet, sweet Georgia, keeps pulling on my ring. Thank you very much.
Hey, David. Well, I know you hadn't rehearsed this with the band or anything. Just a couple of lines of Butterbean.
Yeah.
See, boys. Owen Bradley came to one of my concerts one night, and he said, you know, we got to do that song as a joke. He just loved it. Radio stations all around the country started having butterbean eating contests. I tried to stay out of them, but the first one happened up in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and we had a truck driver that ate 72 ounces of butterbeans. The last time we saw him, he was just floating over the city, heading for Lookout Mountain. Everybody said, that's a natural gas, isn't it? Well, just a bowl of butterbean. Pass the cornbread, if you please. I don't want no collard green. All I want is a bowl of butter beans. I'm gonna skip and do the verse that made this song a hit. You see, that woman, she's over there. The one with both hands in the air. Where are you, honey? She's not pregnant as she seems. She's just full of them good old butter beans. Thank y'all very much. I appreciate it. That was a hit verse. That's what Owen said.
Thank you, man. That's terrific.
Thank y'all very much.
Thank you for coming to see us.
Great
and,
band. Let me have one hand for the band.
Didn't sing nothing about cherry pie, did they?
No, but you know what? Bill, is this on? Yeah. Bill is easily fooled because he also thinks I made all that spaghetti today.
Those of you that weren't here earlier, Helen I'll make this short. Helen got on the tour bus and told us she'd made this cherry pie, and she bought this great cherry pie, and it was so good. I emailed her and asked her for the recipe, and she said the recipes go to Sam's Club. That's where I bought it.
Oh, dear. Well, it was really good pie.
It was delicious.
It was delicious, and why should you go get all those ingredients when you can get Maggie Cavender to do it for you? Calendar, whatever her name is, I don't know.
Marie Cavender.
Marie Cavender. You know, you did, didn't you?
He went to Sam.
Yes, he does. He does.
Sing us a song.
Okay, I want to come down there. I'm unplugged now, but I really have been kind of listening to everybody, and little David has lost enough weight that he's almost lost me, And I want Ray Pillow to introduce me, and I want you to hold my cord. Well, no.
Jump
I'm
in,
gonna pass. I'm going to pass.
Be leading you around with it. He'll be leading you around with it.
You know, this song Charlie was talking about, a song has to have meaning, and this one really has a lot of meaning because she murders him. And when I first learned the words to the song, I thought, well, I can't sing that. And then when I found out he wouldn't marry her, he deserved it. Yeah. Okay, let's go. I ask my love to take a walk, just a little walk down beside where the waters flow, down by the banks of the Ohio, and only say that you'll be mine. In those others' arms entwined, down beside where the waters flow, down by the banks of the Ohio. I held a knife unto his breast, as into my arms he pressed. He cried, my love, don't you murder me. I'm not prepared for eternity. Y'all sing with me, everybody. And only say that you be mine. In no other's arms entwined, down beside where the waters flow, down by the banks of the Ohio. I wandered home between 12 and 1, and I cried, my God, what have I done? I've killed the only man I love. He would not take me for his bride, and only say that you'll be mine. In no other's arms entwined, down beside where the waters flow, down by the banks of the Ohio. I want to hear y'all now, everybody. And only say that you'll be mine. In no other's arms entwined, down beside where the waters flow, down by the banks of the Ohio, down by the banks of the Ohio. Thank you. We waited till I'm too dry in this one.
What a morbid song.
I know, but he deserved it.
That makes a Knoxville girl sound like Butterbeans.
You know what, Bill? I was thinking the other day when I was here. You know, Barbara Fairchild was here, and Charlie Louvin and Melba Montgomery recorded the first song that I ever had recorded by any big stars. You know, and you remember it, Charlie? He said, "What was it?"
I'm searching now, her brain.
And then Barbara
remember
Fairchild
that.
recorded 2 or 3 of mine,
It
had a
was a
couple
good
of
song.
singles on. Of course, it wasn't Teddy Bear. And Jim Ed and I recorded some, and I thought, you know what? 3 people in this room have recorded my songs, and I'll bet you every person in this room has recorded at least 3 of Bill Anderson's. Yes, that's where the real songwriter comes in.
Well, you're a great songwriter, although you didn't write The Banks of the Ohio. That's actually an old folk song from way, way back.
Yeah, I don't know. I just love it, but I didn't make the pie either, so it's okay.
Well, here, talk about a tailor-made segue. Now, listen to this. From the banks of the Ohio to I washed my hands in muddy water. Our buddy Stonewall Jackson has been sitting over there way too quiet all day.
How you doing, Bill?
We really all need to congratulate Stonewall. He's got that great record out where it's other people, a lot of us came in and sang on his big hit songs. And this is like, it's like the #1 album now on like some kind of international global charts.
Yeah, the global charts, website thing, you know, that's a new thing. It's really doing good now. And the thing that you and a whole lot of other people in the business came in and done for me, I never can thank them enough. This will give me an opportunity maybe to thank a few more of them than I've been able to. And I appreciate that very much. Yeah, it's #1 and 2. The 2 albums I got, the Super Friends. Then it caused this to happen. The gentleman told me, he said, I just love that greatest hits of yours. Could I turn that loose? And I said, oh my God, how can I say no to the man, you know? Because when you got something going, the other hours are already hitting, see? And so I said, it'll just do away with the whole thing, you know? And so I said, well, yeah. And so what I had, I wound up with 57 songs. I hope Jax does just as well as this work for me. But things are not over till the fat lady sings, you know. But both of them was 1 and 2 in the album charts and the global charts that's around the world. And when I turned that loose, I had 16 songs released as singles in the singles charts, and that's a global chart. And so like that, it left the Super Friends thing open so I can just release singles out of it. I've had 2 hits out of that. I've had a number 11 song, and then I've had Wash My Hands in Muddy Water, the one I'm fixing to do, at #9, and I just had a 3rd song to debut at #2. And so I'm praying for you, Jack.
Well, congratulations. Lay a little muddy water on us.
I sure will. The fellas are ready. Do it kind of period back there, son. All right. I was born in Macon, Georgia. They kept my daddy in the Macon jail. My daddy says, son, if you keep them hands clean, brother, you won't hear them blood out on your trail. But I fell in with some bad companions, robbed that man up in Tennessee. The sheriff called me way up in Nashville. He locked me up and he threw away the key. Yeah, I washed my hands in muddy water. Wash my hands, but they didn't come clean. Tried to do like my daddy told me, but I must have washed them hands in a muddy stream. Pick a little bit now. All right now. All right, on and on and on and Ask the jailer when is my time up? Well, he said, son, you know we won't forget. But if you try just to keep your little hands clean, brother, we may make a good boy of you yet. But I sure couldn't wait to do no sinning. I broke on out of the Nashville jail. Well, I just crossed that line to Georgia. Whoa, and I can hear them bloodhounds on my trail. Cause I washed my hands in muddy water. I rinsed them all, but they didn't come clean. I tried to do like Papa told me, but I must have washed my hands in a muddy stream. I appreciate you very much, and I love you very much.
Great, Walt.
Who wrote that?
Joe Babcock.
Joe
I
Babcock.
wonder if anybody in here knows how many hit records this man has had.
He's had tons of them.
He's had a ton of hit records.
He even had a crossover. Waterloo was a hit in the
I know.
pop charts as well as
He
the
has
country
wrote and
charts.
recorded so many hit songs.
Yeah.
Waterloo was a hit when we lived in California before we ever moved back here.
Which one was?
Waterloo.
Yeah.
Yeah, 58, I believe.
Yeah.
That's a John D. song.
I got to tell this. I've heard a story for 20 years, and we broke for lunch a while ago. I was sitting with Stonewall, and I said, I've heard this story. I've told it for 20 years. Is it true? And he said, well, what is the story? And it goes like this. Stonewall and his band pulled up to do this show at some auditorium, and they're unloading their equipment. So they started unloading the sound equipment. And the promoter said, oh, no, you don't need that. Got a brand new system. It's great. He said, well, we'd feel a lot better if we used our own. I said, no. It's a brand new system. It's wonderful. Trust me. He said, well, all right. So they set up. People came in. Started singing his first song. People in the back are doing this, whatever. So he finished the song and he said, can you people back there hear me? No. He said, well, when we got here today, I told old Broke Nose I wanted to use my own system. But Broke Nose told me they had a new sound system here. We didn't need to do that. And I told Broke Nose that I really wanted to use our own system. But Broke Nose said no. Now, when we finish this show and I go backstage, he's going to say, my nose ain't broke. Yeah, it is.
He says it's a true story?
He said, that is a good story.
Hey, Lukey.
Yeah.
I lived just about 2 miles from Stonewall for years. And they had a go-kart track going over at his place.
Still there?
So I go over to the go-kart track and I'm doing my thing. I'm running around there, whatever they run, 20, 25 miles an hour, and the steering wheel comes off in my hand.
No.
And they had these tires and everything to keep you from going over there, supposedly. Yeah. But it didn't keep me from going over there, supposedly. And threw me up in the air, and I came down on a tobacco spike they had in there, and it tore my hand up, and in the air, Wall said, yonder goes travel on. You remember that, Wall?
I couldn't help but think, you talk about the sound system. We've all had stories that just suddenly flashed in my mind. One day we pulled up at a little county fair in West Virginia, and I looked out and there was a van down there. And on the side of the van was a sign, Sam's Heating, Air Conditioning, and Sound Company. Oh, boy, I can hardly wait to get on there tonight.
I just realized something now. I just met with our Missouri governor and the First Lady, and since Helen is from Missouri, the Missouri governor's wife is bringing back the pie baking contest.
Oh, really?
And so I think I should invite Helen to come and get some Martha White flour. And we'll get her in the pie baking contest. How about
do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
do
It's
that.
a deal.
I wondered when you was gonna get in the plug for Martha White.
Well, now that she's done it, I can plug Springer Mountain Farms chicken.
Yes, you can. Anybody else gonna plug anything? What you gonna plug, Jimmy?
Maxine is having a big party today at the governor's mansion in Arkansas. The governor has invited her over because she has a song called Taking It Out and Trade.
Yes, she does. She
And,
emailed me.
and it's a big hit.
That's what I hear.
All over Arkansas, I think. But anyway, there's a magazine that's just put out a big story. Well, anyway, they're having a big program, a big party for Maxine at the governor's mansion in Arkansas.
Oh, wonderful.
Ain't that something?
All right, we're plugging. Anybody else got anything you're gonna plug?
Can't wait to get my new Dan Post boots.
And Gibson Guitar has an 800 number.
Yeah, and in case you missed it, Gibson Guitar has an 800 number.